Hi everyone, good day to you all. Hopefully you guys can hear me just fine. Let me make sure that the audio stays working today. I'll keep an eye on it. So how you guys doing? Welcome to the second part of our entrepreneurship class. Yes, this is Entrepreneur. Hopefully you guys can hear me just fine. Yep. Yep, so hopefully you guys been outside. I have not been outside for some time, a few days, going crazy with the kids running around in the house. They all going to school here. I'm teaching the classes from here. So at least we're staying safe, so that's a good thing. So I posted two videos on how to do the business plan and also how to calculate startup costs. Hopefully you guys watched the videos. If you haven't watched it yet, they're on a 5-minute lecture playlist. Excuse me. Just go ahead and watch them. And the business plan is pretty self-explanatory. I am going to show you what the template looks like right here. Right here. All right, so you should be able to see it. There's seven sections to the business plan. We're going to complete them in the next 4 weeks, and it will be due in late April, mid-April, sorry. And these are the seven sections. They are covered on the videos as well. You can follow through the 7 video sections and just listen to the explanations. They're pretty explanatory. A lot of stuff already done before. We've done the executive summary, which covers the core value and the mission statement, and then we've done the market analysis. So you can just import those work from what we previously done, and we will focus for the next 3 weeks on the operational plan, the startup capital, and the financial projections, and the financing of the business. So this week we'll simply doing the capital projection and then capital planning, because we need to know how much money we will need to start this business before we can go figure out how to get the money to start a business. The first part of the course, the entrepreneurship one, the earlier part before we went online, was focused on the mindset of being an entrepreneur and how to plan out the idea. And this part of the course is focusing on how to actually make the actual plan. So when we start a startup, we should have a plan to go on, and we'll follow that plan for at least 6 months. So we need to make sure that we have enough money to cover 6 months of expenses, and which I'll go through in a little bit. So I also, if you watch the first video, the first live session, I apologize for the mic cutting out, but during the first session, I showed a PowerPoint, which the 4 weeks, what we're going to cover in the 4 to 5 weeks, and that PDF is posted as well, so you can refer to that. And I will post the schedule on a weekly basis, and I'll reiterate it once we get on live. All right. So that's for the business plan. We'll go over it again in a couple of weeks before you put it all together. In the meantime, let's dive into the startup capital requirement. So first, the link to the startup capital requirement is actually in the comment, not a comment, in the description of the capital projection cost video, which will take you to the ProfessorZ website on the startup page, and there will be a link there to download this spreadsheet. And this is the spreadsheet, the startup cost worksheet. The worksheet is pretty self-explanatory. If you watch the video along with the worksheet, you will be able to see the 5 sections. The first section is raw materials and supplies. The second section is production equipment. The third section is production personnel. The fourth section is location cost. The fifth section is the other professional costs. If you're looking at the spreadsheet now and you don't know what to put in there necessarily, don't worry. If you watch the other video, the explainer video, you will have a better idea. So look at this spreadsheet and watch the explainer video, and then use the video as a guide to complete this section. But I'll go through here one by one. So I break the startup costs into 5 different sections, 5 different categories. The first, the most important, is the raw material and supplies. Here the instruction says list all the raw materials you will need to produce the products and services for at least 1 month. I asked for 1 month. It's just easier to calculate the 1 month. And as you see in the table, once you put in a 1 month cost, there's a 6 month here. There's a 6 months multiplier, which will bring the total cost for 6 months. So for example, if you're planning to do a hair salon, what kind of materials do you need, right? So you might need shampoos and you need sanitation supplies. You have other chemicals and other things that you will need. You will list the items one by one on the left, and then you will list the quantities and one by one, and then the unit cost, and then they will be multiplied together, and then you will reach the monthly cost, and it's actually automatic. So let's say if I just do test item, obviously you should put on the actual item. Yeah, you need, let's say, 100 of them, and unit cost is $3.99. So 1 month cost is $399. 6 months will be $2,394. So you should have all the items list out. And if you need another row, like I gave you about 7 rows here. If you need another row, all you have to do is copy one row and insert it into another row. Then you will be able to create more because the formula is in there. So I want to make sure that you copy the formulas. I see some questions regarding whether it's still a group project. It is not going on as a group project anymore because it's hard for you guys to work together. However, I would like you to stick with the project that you were selected to, because you've already put some thought into it and then move forward and work on some things. So I don't want you to have to go back and redo it. So just go forward with the project that you were on. You don't need to consult with your team member anymore as a group project. If you have any idea of your own you want to add to the project and complete the project, that's perfectly fine. So as long as you do these assignments using that project that you're already on, that will be fine with me. You can work on your own. I hope that answers the question. And then, so that's one. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit to let you see that once I put in the first section estimates, you see the raw material and supplies, here the numbers gets imported down here for your total. Some of the sections already have numbers in it. I'll go back up and show you why that is, but you don't have to do the calculation. So all you have to do is list items, figure out a quantity, and put in a price, and the calculation is done for you, and it will be done at the bottom. Let me go back up. So for production equipment, these are the equipment that you need to produce your product or services. You got to be comprehensive and you try not to leave anything out. So the equipments are the things that are not consumables, not like chemicals and shampoos and whatnot. Might be the barber chairs, the mirrors, the blow dryers. I'm still using hair salon as an example. So all the things that you will need to produce the service. And then for section 1 and 2 here, if you're doing a service business, you will still need resources. So for example, I put that in a video. For certain software, I still need computers. I still need a place to work. So all these startup costs still exist. And if I'm making videos on YouTube, I need a camera, I need lighting. All those stuff are equipments that we need to put in, even for a service business. So everything you need. So you don't want to miss anything here, because if you had to buy something later and you didn't budget it in and you actually went out and got a loan or save up money for it, you're going to need additional money that you're not going to have. So that's the production equipment. For 3 down here, production personnel, I listed 2 person already. I listed owner, which is you, right? The entrepreneur always be working for the business. But I put in here that it's $30 an hour for 40 hours a week, and 1 month costs us $62.40. It's not actually just the hours times the hourly. It also I included 20% of payroll tax and benefit costs, which you will have to pay, unfortunately, as a small business owner or as an employer or even as a self-employed contractor. So I added 20% on top of that. I also added a receptionist and office admin. And many of you would say, well, I'm just starting a small business. Why would I need an admin or why would I need a receptionist? The reason is it will cost you $15 to pay for a receptionist. For those of you who would have had part-time jobs, $12 to $15 is reasonable to get somebody to come and open the store, open the office, and answer phone calls. And if it only costs you $15 to hire someone to do that, why would you do that yourself? Because you should be making more than $15 yourself, right? Even at $30, if it costs half of the money that you can make per hour to do something, you should hire someone else to do it so you can focus on the things that you do best. That's why if you work in a salon, if you open your own salon, you can be cutting hair and doing hair. And if you have to answer phone too, you have to do billing, you have to run credit cards, you have to order supplies. That's taking time away from client time, which you can earn more money during that time. So it's good to plan it out. By the way, this is just capital planning. It's very likely that after everything is added, you're not going to be able to get the money to afford all these things. Then you can decide what to cut out. So one of the first things you might cut out might be the receptionist or an admin or a second person. But you should put that in there so in case you actually get all the money you need, then you don't have to shoestring it and cut your costs. So I left these two in there. You can add the additional people as you want. I made it easier in this spreadsheet. It's just weekly hours. You can put in the weekly hours and hourly wage, and it will calculate the monthly and 6 month cost for you. And then for location costs, here I already put in some items for you. You can add in more as well, but I didn't put costs because it depends on where you are. Oh, I'm missing a 6 here. If you are, it depends on where you live, where you want to open this business, it might be more or less. If you want to rent a very small store in Center City, Philadelphia, maybe it will cost you $1,000, $1,500 a month. If you're renting it out in Oxford and Chester County, it might only cost $400 or $500 a month. If you want to rent in Manhattan, it might cost you $3,000 or $4,000. So I left the unit costs out. Electricity, you can kind of estimate based on your residential costs, gas, heat, internet. Many of you probably don't have to pay internet. You just use your phone. But if you have a location, you are going to need the hardwired internet. And for most people that don't realize this, commercial business internet account costs probably twice as much as residential. You can't get the same deal as you can at home for internet. So you have to account for that. Cell phone and phone could be one or could be not, because if you have another staff person, you're going to need two different extensions. You probably need a landline. Not necessarily a landline, but maybe a voice over IP, but still a dedicated phone line rather than a cell phone. So just budget that in there. If you need to cut it out, you cut it out. But these are smaller expenses. The rent is probably going to be the biggest expense, and usually you need 3 months to get started. But here we're budgeting for 6 months, so that should be okay. And then the section 5 is other professional costs. Here I listed 3 things, and these are discussed in the video. I listed attorney, licensing, and an accountant. You can probably do it without accountant if you're hiring an attorney. You can probably do it without an attorney if you're hiring an accountant, but you should at least hire one or the other. Many accountants will set up your company for you, but they are not lawyers. They can't set up your agreements and contracts for you. They might try to, but they really shouldn't. So if you're setting up an LLC or setting up a corporation, you should really be working with an attorney. Unfortunately, as you know, and I said many times before, attorneys cost quite a bit of money. I put the average cost for the startup attorney at $3,000. That's actually very low. You can probably find someone to do it for $1,000, $1,500. I work with nonprofits and I help them do the startup package for less than $500 or $600. But it's hard to find those kind of attorneys that will do that for you. So on average, budget for $3,000, and you can get some advice on customer contracts or waivers and other things. you will still need insurance costs as well, but you will get the insurance costs through your insurance brokerage. You can find a business broker, and then business insurance is generally pretty cheap for most businesses, maybe like $50 a month or less. So yeah, I didn't include that in here as a big cost. So after you finish all the sections, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you see the totals. You have section totals, and then the section total will be imported down here into the grand total section, and these will be the total startup costs. So the lesson I want you to learn here when you're doing this spreadsheet is that you should absolutely plan for 6 months, because it's very likely that you start your business and you're not going to be able to count on any money coming in for 6 months. And that's important to understand, because if you raise enough money, you don't be alarmed if your amount come up to like $150,000, because that's sort of normal, right? If you have a 6 month cost of $150,000 and you have that in your bank, and you open the door and business start to trickle in, customers start to trickle in, but you're not making enough to cover your costs, at least you don't have to get stressed out for another 3 or 4 months. You can focus on marketing. You can focus on getting people to like your business and to use your services, rather than trying to scramble around trying to figure out how to pay your rent the next month. So if you don't have enough money, either scale down your operations, scale down your plans, or wait until you have enough money. It's nothing worse than, coming up with $20,000, $30,000 now. Like you said, I'm gonna go start this business now. You open the door, 5, 6 weeks later, you don't get enough customers. People love your products, but they're just not coming in enough. And then you're struggling to figure out what to do. To get more customers, you have to pay money for marketing, to bring to bring customer in through marketing, advertising, but you're hurting for money, so you don't have the money to pay for marketing. So the lesson here is that plan well ahead. Plan to not have any income for 6 months. And that's why I have you budget yourself in there, is that you can be paying your bills. You can be paying yourself out of those 6 months that you're waiting for customers to build up. And on the other hand, if you start a business and people start to come through the door like a flood, and everybody love your store, everybody love your business, you're just making money, making a lot of money, then you'll be much better off. You can pay your loan off early and you'll be well on your way to become successful, right? So I want you to plan this out to understand what you're taking on and what kind of risks you're taking on. And this spreadsheet will be done. I hope you guys can finish the spreadsheet by Tuesday. And then during Tuesday, we will see what the average amount that you guys need. And then we'll discuss the different ways that we can go about getting financing next week. That's the class topic for next week. And then, I see there's a question where to find the Excel spreadsheet. So the link is posted on the message board, the Moodle message board post, and it's also in the body of the video, this explaining how to calculate a startup cost. So I will also put the link in the description here as well to make easy. So, and by the way, if you ever cannot find anything anywhere, like you don't know where to go, you can always go to my website. It is theprofessorz.com/startup. I'll bring it up. I create a page just for this part. So if you go to theprofessorz.com/startup. And then you will go to a page that says startup planning. And then there was the video for the business plan. And then they have the video for estimating startup costs. And down here is the worksheet link. So all the links that on the links in the description of the video and the links on Moodle all link to this page, and the worksheet is here. There will be additional worksheets in the future and I'll also post on that page, so they'll be in one place. To answer the question, I will open a submission on Moodle, but that's not submitting right. Oh, we don't have to submit it right now. I'm gonna give you a week to work on it. So I'm explaining this now. And if I'm anticipating that some of you might have questions next week as well, so you can respond. You can either put it in the comments of the video, or you can respond to the Moodle message board, or you can bring the question here next session when we have the class session on Tuesday, and I'll answer those. I would like everybody to calculate how much money you think you will need. Just have that idea in mind when you come next Tuesday. So when I'm explaining the different ways of financing, you can have an idea of what's workable and what's not. All right. So if your group still wants to work together, you're welcome to work together. But you see that some people are asking if you still want to be a group project. Some people want individual project. You guys are welcome to work together. But again, if you work together, then the expectation is that everybody work on it. I'm not making this a group project anymore because we don't have class together in person. So it's difficult to coordinate everyone. But if you guys want to work together, still by all means do so, because at the end of this, as I said before, I still really want to see one of the project, if not all of the project, become something that we can try to raise money for as an actual venture. So if you can work on it together, by all means, still work on it together. And when everybody's together, I think you'll get better ideas and you have a diverse viewpoints, and hopefully you will get a better project and better result. And I will still, as a part of the financing, will still cover Kickstarter, and I will still list the Kickstarter. I will still list the Kickstarter worksheet. I think that's due for next week. Not due. That will be assigned next week. So we'll work on Kickstarter stuff next week. And if you guys want to work on it together and still try to raise money to start this project for the summer, I know you're all gonna be home and probably needing something to do. So hopefully we can still start some businesses. So yes, officially, group project and individual project are optional. Yes, if you want to work together as a group, just put all your name together and just let me know who worked on it. So either you work individually or not individually, you got to make sure that you are accountable for at least one of the assignments. So if you want to work on it by yourself, that's fine. Submit it on your own. If you want to submit it together, just make sure that everybody's name is on the submission. And lastly, this is a housekeeping matter. You've all received a email regarding pass fail options. I would encourage anyone who wants to take advantage of it. Don't miss the deadline. The deadline is April 17th, I believe. So if you want to do that, that's fine. I said in the beginning that for this class, that if you do all the projects, you should be able to earn a decent grade. But I also don't want to hold that against anyone who might have a problem connecting online and doing stuff, because I know everybody's dealing with different things. So if you want to take pass fail option, please by all means do so for all the other classes as well. I think it takes the stress out of everyone. But if you want to kind of talk to me individually, my office hours are still going to be on Wednesdays and Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you can send me an email. We can set up a time to talk. Uh, any assignment that will be due will be put on Moodle. So because I'm assigning this worksheet Thursday, it will not be due to Thursday. But I would again like everybody to have tried it and have an idea on what kind of cost range that you are planning when you come to the live session on Tuesday. All right. So back to my outdoor. Um, by the way, that's my favorite park from my hometown. So hopefully you guys enjoy it and enjoy outdoors if you can. I've been stuck here for some time. So hopefully this will blow over by the summertime. We can actually move forward and have a wonderful summer. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, you know how to reach me. And If I don't see any other questions in the next 30 seconds, then we'll call it a session. Let me ask. All right, seeing none, hearing none. I wish everyone a happy rest of the week, and hopefully we can all get through this and as well as possible. And look forward to seeing you guys again and see what you've planned next week. All right, have a great day.